Yo, what up y'all, IntraVenus here, back with another episode. Today I have brought to the show a completely fake reproduction copy of Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance. I picked this up on AliExpress for $24, including tax, shipping, and everything. The reason I spent that much money on it is because, first of all, I grew up with the original Metroid game. If you didn't know, Metroid Zero Mission is a recreation, a reimagining of the original game. It's like a remaster back in the day. And, you know, I had the original Metroid game on my Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. It was one of my first games. And I love it. And so I saw this, and I picked it up because it has the box, a playable game, and a complete reproduction of the instruction manual. No joke. So I thought we'd check it out together on the show, and then pop it in my Game Boy, make sure it works. And then I want to check it out on the Retron 5 to see if it plays on there, and maybe see if it happens to show up the actual name. I want to see if the Retron 5 recognizes it as Metroid Zero Mission or just an unrecognizable game. So here we have the box emptied out. It is quite beautiful and made pretty well. There's only a few maybe slightly blurry text, but this looks amazing. So if you think you might have found recently a Metroid Zero Mission copy complete in box and it seems too good to be true, well, it probably is. So nonetheless, I loved having this in my collection. I had to get it. I'm not supporting people selling these as fake games, but this is a reproduction to me. It's not a fake game. Nobody's trying to dupe me into buying it. I knew I bought a reproduction because I couldn't get a hold of this when I was younger. So here is the manual. And the text is a little blurry, but it certainly is legible. By all means, you can look at and read through the entire instruction manual as it was meant to be. And it's hard to find these kind of things. I'm sure if you actually found a legit copy of this game in box and everything, first of all, the box would be all kind of ratty looking, and the manual would be all wrinkly and crumpled, and the game would be kind of scratched and stuff. This is all brand new and really fun to have in my collection. I have several copies of this game in digital form. In fact, for the price of $24, I've already bought a handheld or two that play thousands of games, including this game on them. But that's not why I got it, because I wanted to play it on my custom Game Boy Advance here. And this is a Game Boy Advance I got from Socal Gameboy. And this makes all Game Boy Advance games more fun to play. That's just how it is, because playing on the actual original hardware is the way to do it. I'm telling you. So this is pretty awesome. I want to see that this works. Gives us a choice of language at the beginning. I don't remember this game having that option, so maybe this is actually the P.O.L version instead of the American version. US, I'm not sure. It's playing though. Got my brightness up all the way. Turn it down a little. I love this game. I recently picked up a physical copy of a ROM hack of Metroid 2, which also, not Metroid 2, Metroid also. And that should be fun. Oh man, this looks great on here, and it's playing just fine. Sick. And, you know, I'm sure this saves. I'm pretty sure they added the save feature to this version. In the old version, you had to put the codes in, you know. God, I love this. So nice, so nice. So, let's go ahead and pop it in my Retron 5, which I actually have right here. And let's see how it boots up on this console. If you're not aware, the Retron 5 is an emulation station of sorts. It plays all types of consoles, including NES, Famicom, Super NES, Super Famicom, Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. So, I've got this here. Let's pop it in. I've got a little mini TV here that we'll check the image out on. And I've got a Super Nintendo controller to play it with. And this might be a pretty fun way to play it if I didn't already have this super sweet Game Boy Advance. So actually, I'm going to pull this out and turn it on without the game in there first. And then pop it in so we can see how it recognizes it. Retron 5, baby. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want a Retron 5 from Hyperkin. They're very awesome. So right here we have no cart inserted. I've got my fancy brand new Metroid Zero Mission cartridge. Looking super fresh. It even says Nintendo on the board. Let's pop it in. Error, multiple cartridges inserted. That's weird. Oh, you know what? My Earthbound is over here partially sticking out. I thought it was just kind of resting there. There we go. I'll speed this up for you. Unknown cartridge. And that's to be expected. So, you know, if you happen to have bought a game that you're not sure if it's a real copy or not, and you have a Retron 5, well, go ahead and pop it in there. That's one way to tell. In fact, let's go ahead and pop in a regular Game Boy Advance cartridge and see if it shows its name. Just for example, here we have Galador. No reason to make a copy of that game. Nobody's making repros of Galador, I don't think. Once again, I'll speed it up. See there? What's really funny is you could see Pokemon in the corner because I have this memory card in the back that lets me load up any ROM I want after I have a game in there. So all I need to do is put a Game Boy Advance game in there, and then I could choose any Game Boy Advance game I want and play it instead. But the point is that it would show right here that it is Metroid Zero Mission if it was the actual cartridge. Keep that in mind. Anyhow, it did say unknown cartridge, but we do want to see if it plays. So let's fast forward again to that moment. Unknown cartridge, we're going to hit play, and then it's going to ask you this: do you want to run it anyways because we don't recognize the cartridge, blah blah blah. Always say yes because it's going to run. And there it is. There's my Hyperkin Scout, what I'm playing with here. So I mean, look, this is a great way to play Game Boy Advance games, by the way. And it does have a save on there already. That's because I started it on the Game Boy Advance, I guess? Does it save automatically? We'll see. It should start me right at the ship at the beginning. Yeah, alright, so it recognized the save data and everything. A lot of times with the Pokemon games, it for some reason doesn't recognize the save data. You have to do your own save on Retron 5. It's completely separate on the Retron 5. It doesn't bother the one that's on the game and it doesn't read sometimes. But hey, this is freaking sweet, yo. For $24, I got a complete in-box with a little protective shield copy of Metroid Zero Mission for my collection to you know, put on the shelf and to be able to play the game in a physical cartridge form on my Game Boy Advance, which is exactly how I'm going to be playing it. I'm not going to play it on here. In fact, if I was, I'd put it on the big TV. But you know, what do y'all think about this? There's a lot of different reproductions going on. Actually, people are making reproductions of almost any game you could think of from the retro days, all the way up to Nintendo 64. It looks like people are doing now. It's crazy. So what do you think about it? Do you think this is shady? Might be. Do you think it's cool? Definitely, I think so. And you know, I enjoy it. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the episode. If you like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I really appreciate it. And we'll do more videos like this in the future. I got a lot more coming. I got all these Pokemon ROM hacks in physical form up here. A lot of them. So, until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.
Well, that was just childhood. We were all there together, and in denial would play like it was forever. And in the tall woods, we'd stay out of the weather like it was all good. Every day we made it for pleasure. We were saying whatever. pain to our minds. Plain and simple like a tether ball, reaching the sky. We were taking new heights on the swing while it was making us fly. Be the king of the hill and everything will be fine. The thrill of every